welcome to the Week in Review for Module 3, Week 3. Hey, great job with the assignments last week, especially that discussion on career opportunities. Again, what I'm trying to do is get you folks to think about there's a lot of opportunity out there at the baccalaureate level. It's not necessarily related to direct imaging. And some of those jobs that aren't related to direct imaging pay a lot more money, have better hours, and are less stressful. So again, I want you to think about those areas. So there's nothing wrong with being in the direct imaging chain of production, but again, often think about those areas. And I listed some of those, and there was some great discussion. Like especially Kylie, she brought up a couple of points. One about using Indeed, I really liked that. And then she also brought up the point that when you're sitting in that interview, that you're going to need to sell yourself. You're going to need to explain your skills. So don't assume that that interviewer has toiled over your cover letter, they've toiled over your resume, and they've read it in detail. The reality is, if they gave it 5 minutes review, you're lucky. So what that means, and what Kylie pointed out, is that if you're doing something where maybe the healthcare administration part needs to be brought to the surface, you're going to have to talk about that. You're going to have to say, I've taken a medical imaging program. A huge part of that was devoted towards healthcare administration and management, and then go through kind of the specific things that you studied. So you'll have to do that. And again, this could go whatever direction that you're going with whatever job. Learn those skills as far as emphasizing what's going to help you with that position. Before I forget, and I'll also put it in the course news as well, when we're talking about interviewing skills, resumes, the career services here at Mercy College are available to all students and to all alumni for life. So you will be alumni soon, and you will have those. Megan Gray is the director of the career services. You will have her services available, or whomever might be in that position, for the rest of your life. Please use those, especially like in resume review and maybe polishing up interviewing skills or discussing maybe a strategy that you might have for a very important interview. Okay, I think I wanted to get that little advertisement out there. I will put more information about Megan's services later. Also, I thought Sean made a very good point in that same discussion about what it really comes down to is connections and who you know. And unfortunately, that is a life lesson that I had. I call it the lesson number 12 in my book of life lessons. I always, say it should be nice to believe that the best individuals, the best and brightest would rise to the top. That is not the case. It does happen, but not always. And I think we've all seen that in life. And a lot of it has to do with a certain set of other skills, soft skills, which we'll talk about later on in this course. But one of them is networking. And what Sean recommended, we were talking, and Sean and I have been talking ever since he started with this program about what he wants to do with his career, is networking and getting that resume in the hands of the district manager. And that's often going to come through that sales rep. So that sales rep is going to like you, maybe bond with you, think that, yeah, you got what it takes, and they're going to pass that resume on to the DM. So do not have an abiding faith in the normal channels of employment, such as doing the job boards. That's definitely part of it. That's probably 80% of it. But the other part is networking and getting that resume in the hands of someone who then can maybe give it to that decision maker, or actually meeting that decision maker. I know Carmen and I have been talking a lot about that over the past months as well. And Carmen brought a very good position up, that one with Stryker. Again, thinking of these jobs that are out there where you have a very unique set of skills. You have clinical background. You have clinical background in a highly technical field. and then being able to leverage that with, now that you have your bachelor's degree, into some of these positions. The thing that makes me just go crazy is when I see a pharmaceutical rep, or I saw the one that still bothers me to this day, is the guy who was a rep for Bracco, which sells, they're like the leader in MRI contrast agents. Zero clinical background. Never scanned a patient in his life. Never had patient care. His background was in English. He was an English teacher at one time. So, and it was about who you know for this individual, how he got into the business. So, again, utilize your unique clinical experience with that baccalaureate degree. I know Sean has been looking, and I saw that in his posts, and you get to that part of the interview, and he'll tell you this. You get to that part of the interview application where it asks you baccalaureate degree, and it shuts right down if you don't click yes. It just won't even let you complete the applications. But soon, very soon, in a matter of 6 weeks, you will all have that. Let me just talk briefly, because Kylie was talking about the highlighting like HCA experience. Remember that HCA minor is out there. We do have a strategy for you guys to pursue that minor. It would mean that you would technically suspend the confirmation of your degree until you have completed the minor requirements. But Aaron can give you more details about that if you want to do it. You could still go through graduation. You could always elect not to do it and just say go ahead and confer the degree, and we could do that. But just know that once we confer the degree, then we cannot go back in and then confer a minor. So it's kind of either you do it now or you don't do it at all. But again, 2 extra courses, and you'll actually have that additional demonstration that you could put on a resume that would be on your permanent transcript for the rest of your life. Okay, so enough about that. Do contact Aaron if you want to go forward with that immediately. All right, so let's talk about this week. So what are we doing this week? We're going to still go into that Future-Proof Your Career workbook. I hope you find some interesting points in there. I like about 80% of that book. I really like. There's some good, solid advice and tools that you can use in there. Save that workbook. Keep it on your desktop. Always can go back to that. It really speaks to about looking at the horizon. Try to forecast the things that are coming to you that are going to be good and bad, so you can navigate your career. This week, we're going to be looking at more of a short-term picture. Last week was long-term. You're going to be introduced to something called SWOT analysis. If you haven't encountered this during your career here at Mercy College and your HCA courses, I should say, you're going to learn about SWOT analysis, which you can apply to almost anything in life or in business, to kind of identify those short-term threats, opportunities, etc., in a systematic approach. Also this week in our discussion, we're going to be talking about going for your master's degree. Now, there really is no right or wrong answer to this. It really depends on the individual and where you're at in your life and where you see your long-term career. So, but it is, you should think about it and when you would position that master. I know for some of you, you're immediately going into master's programs, which is great. And we've talked a lot about it. The timing, everything seems to make sense to continue on immediately. For some of you, that may not be the case. For some of you, maybe going and looking for those higher paid sales positions. Some of them have bachelor's required, master's preferred. That may be a situation as well. So we're going to have a discussion about going on for your master's degree. And then also lastly this week, we're going to be completing our one-on-one discussions. I think I've had just about half of them. I talked to you on Monday, and then we'll have the other few folks this week. Again, we're going to be talking about the 2 major projects that are due for this course. Now, the paper, if you will, that you'll present to your boss, and then the presentation. So we'll talk in the Move Note presentation. We'll talk about those during that one-on-one conversation. If you haven't scheduled that already, please schedule it. And I say, poor Christina, I've forgotten her twice. I've done over 40 of these, well over 40 this semester, between this class and other classes, and she's the only one I've forgotten, and I've forgotten her twice. So I do apologize for that. But hopefully I'll be talking to you tonight, Christina. So excellent. Other than that, that pretty much concludes this week. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Email, text message, phone call, etc. Virtual open house. Please do that. And as always, thank you for watching.